Hi guys, Matt Granger, that Nikon guy for mattgranger.com. Today I'm here to do part 4 of the lens shootout between the Nikon, Sigma and Tamron 70-200 lens offerings. This section is going to cover close focus because, you know, the Tamron doesn't have OS or image stabilization, but it does have a macro mode, so I thought it's fair to feature that. And I'm also going to do a section on low light and low contrast focusing to see who manages the best out of those 3 lenses. And then I'll finish with a summary telling you what I think of the 3 lenses, having lived with them all for a couple of weeks now and used them extensively. So let's have a look at the close-up work. To do this, I'm just going to handhold and focus in on that little flower in the middle and show you how close a shot I can get with each of the lenses. First up, I'm using the Nikon. This has a closest focusing distance advertised of 1.4 meters. So let's just see how close I can get to this.
Okay, so there's the Nikon, nice and sharp, the focus is pretty much on, and that's how close it goes.
Okay, same test with the Sigma. Let's see how this one goes. It also has a closest focusing distance of 1.4 meters.
Okay, so a slightly different angle on that one, but you can see it's a fairly comparable shot. The background's still very nice.
And not surprisingly, not much difference in the result. Okay, the Tamron. The Tamron will focus down under a meter, and it has a macro function, or it's macro capable. Macro meaning capturing something 1-for-1 size on the sensor. So, no OS, but on a day like today that's so bright and sunny, I'll be shooting at a really fast shutter speed anyway. And, you know, this may be just the Tamron's day. Let's have a look. No problem there. Let's get in closer.
Okay, so I edged in closer and closer, and this was as close as I could get, and how nice is that? And you can really feel the frame with it.
All right, well, we have a winner, the Tamron. There's no OS, but on a day like today, that's no problem. I was shooting at, you know, a couple of thousandths of a second. And this one's macro capable, so it'll capture something 1-for-1 the size it is in reality on the sensor. So that test clearly goes to the Tamron. Hey guys, so a couple of days have passed. I've been using the lenses more and more, and I've just come to do a couple of low light tests for you. I'm going to do some on the bark of the trees here in a shady spot, and then I'll do some in a really dark place down in my underground garage. Here we are on the Sigma. Now I want to point out a couple of things first of all. On the Sigma, the zoom mechanism is reversed from Nikon lenses. I found that quite difficult to use. If you're new to Nikon or easier to learn new things than me, it may be no problem, but something to keep in mind. Other thing to point out is that I've specifically gone out to find areas that are hard to focus on. So right now I'm focusing through a fork of a tree at another tree, and there's cobwebs in between the 2 front sections. So sometimes the lens is so detailed it can pick up the cobwebs, other times it goes straight through, other times it gets stuck and doesn't know where to focus. So this is a rare example, but I wanted to show you how you know, they compare in this kind of extremely difficult situation. So here we are on the Sigma. Okay, did you see it's only just now finished? Let's try again. Still jumping around, and that's because it was jumping forward and back to try and decide whether it should get the cobwebs or the back of the tree. Let's try it one more time. That time it got it because I haven't focused off. Let's go back to close focus. Faster that time, and from long focus, faster that time. But you can see it did struggle a little bit there. It's like it's got artificial intelligence. It got better as we went on. Okay, and here we are on the Tamron. Now, I want to point out to people who very thoughtfully have been sending me messages saying, you shouldn't be having the tripod attached to the camera, you're going to damage it because of the weight of the lenses. Thank you for your concern, but for this kind of test, to keep it comparable, it's important that I don't move the body because the feet are all in different positions. That's the first thing. Second is, these lenses don't weigh that much. They're on a tripod, they're not moving. The body and all of the lenses have metal mounts. It's not an issue. If I was dangling around on my neck for an extended period of time, I'd worry about it more, or if I was shooting for long periods, but for a couple of minutes at a time, it's really not an issue. Now here we are on the Tamron. Again, close focus. Let's have a look, pressing now. Okay, so it didn't jump back and forward, it just took a while to get there. Let's try that again. Okay, that one did have a little pause, but it got there, but not too bad. Okay, here we are on the Nikon. You'll notice the field of view is a little bit different because I needed to broaden the shot out. The focus panel is further from the body. Here we are on close focus. Now let's have a look at how fast this is. Okay, slight pause there. Let's try it again. Okay, pretty much instant that time. And now from far focus, again, pretty much instant. One more time. Okay, so that is the fastest of them all. Now, just to show you exactly what I was focusing on to show you how difficult it was, let me show you the actual shot.
Okay, can you make that out? The two blurred out bits are the fork of the tree in front, and in the background is the bark that was focused on.
Okay, and then that's focused on the far piece of tree, and then this one is focused on the cobweb, so you can see how difficult a shot it really was.
There you can see the fork of the tree sharp and the cobwebs that were throwing the AF off, and in the background is the area that in the last one was sharp.
Okay guys, you probably can't see much here, it's so dark, but I wanted to do a really extreme test. Now I'm going to use my phone so that you can see a little bit of light in there. I'm doing these ones at 135mm. Okay, starting from furthest focus. Let's go, starting now. Okay, did a full sweep and couldn't find anything. Okay, now it's stuck at about 10 meters. Okay, there we go. Third time, and looking at the image, yep, it nailed it. So, but it still had two full sweeps before I could find what it was looking for. Okay guys, so the Sigma and Tamron weren't able to get a focus lock. They were scrolling back and forward. They got close a couple of times, but couldn't quite lock on. But that was a really dark situation. So let me just show you that corner. Okay guys, so just to make it clear how hard that test really was, you can see here I am standing under some light. It's in that far corner where I was just taking the pictures. To show you exactly how dark it was, let me get a shot and I'll tell you the settings that are required to get it. At -2 stops compensation, at 1/40th of a second, at f2.8, that is ISO 25600. Okay, so it's crazy dark in there. So to use an analogy, all three of these lenses are top NBA players. It's just that the Nikon's Jordan. It's a total freak. But the other two struggled, but everything's going to struggle in there. Okay? All right, so the Tamron, big pluses in its favor. It's excellent value. It's lighter, the build quality is quite good, and it's got a macro mode. So if you need that, it's fantastic. Downsides, it doesn't have image stabilization and it's not as quick as the other two. Okay, whereas the Sigma is excellent build quality, very good speed, sharpness, all of those things. It's got a very effective image stabilization, their OS. Downsides on that one, there aren't any really. It's not quite at the level of the Nikon, but it also doesn't have a macro mode. Otherwise, it's good. It's a very good lens, and it's quite comparable to the Nikon in many ways. And the Nikon, it is the best, I have to say. It's the fastest, the sharpest. The VR's a match or slightly better than the Sigma. Downside, it's extremely expensive, and it also doesn't have a macro mode. Now, when I say that the Sigma and Tamron aren't as fast or as sharp or this or that compared to the Nikon, I want to point out they're both still fast and sharp lenses. They're very good lenses. It's just that the Nikon is something of a freak. If you're comparing these Tamron and Sigma lenses to other, cheaper lenses that are out there, these are going to fare very well. And to be honest, you couldn't go wrong with getting any of these lenses depending on what your budget is and your needs. But I know everyone loves to get a nice simple which one is best. So if you need macro and you're on a tight budget and you want good focal range and good performance, get the Tamron, fantastic for you. If you're on something of a tight budget, you want very good image stabilization, image quality and all of those sort of things, but you just can't justify the price tag of the Nikon, Sigma is your choice, as long as you don't need macro. And if you're a full-time pro or a really devoted amateur, or you've got a fair bit of money and it's really important to you that you don't miss a shot because of misfocus or slow focus or VR not working properly or any of those sort of things, then Nikon's the one for you. It's more expensive, but if you're a working pro like me, you pay that off in a day's work anyway. But it's really, I don't think that everyone needs it, I gotta say. It may be 5 or 10% ahead of the other two in some different regards, but it's a lot more than 10% more expensive than them. Check out local pricing. So if, it really depends what you're looking at. If you want macro, get the Tamron. If you want a really good all-rounder that has image stabilization, get the Sigma. It's not that far behind the Nikon. As I say, if money's not a big issue, but the absolute best performance is, then the Nikon's the lens for you. So thank you to all of you who've given feedback and suggestions for this series. It's grown. I wasn't planning to do 4 parts, but I really appreciate the interaction we've had on this one. If you've enjoyed this and it's been useful, please subscribe, leave me a thumbs up for any questions, comments, it's always welcome. And I am looking to grow the channel, so I'd really appreciate it if you shared the link to the channel or the videos that you like on the networking sites that you use, so that your fellow photographers can get involved too. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Matt Granger, that Nikon guy for mattgranger.com.